Welcome to a chilly night under lights at Sydney Motorsport Park's Figure 8 circuit for the high-tech Drifting Australia Drift All-Stars. We've got the Pro and the Pro-Am series on tonight, but the biggest change is the addition of walls around the top and the bottom of the circuit. I mean, how's practice been tonight, Scott? Guys finding their line all over the place.
Yeah, obviously it's going to take a little bit of time for these boys to get settled in and get their lines dialed, but they'll be out there doing getting the action and rubbing those walls pretty quick. Obviously, you've seen some boys find the wall. I mean, mate Javid's already been in there, but we're trying to get his car fixed and get him back out there. It's going to be entertaining tonight, to say the least.
Getting comfortable with those walls is going to be absolutely crucial with a really tight point separation at the top of our pro ladder. Let's check it out. Leading the pack is Rob Arbolino on 227 points, but with Brad Toohey, Bo Yates and James Abbott all above that 200-point mark, there's sure to be some tight and serious battles tonight to resolve this battle tree. There'll be no room for error, though, with new walls at the top and bottom of the circuit that the judges are going to be watching like hawks.
All right, Dan, round 4, back at Figure 8, Sydney Motorsport Park, mate. Obviously, a few changes happened to the track. As you can see, some lovely, nice yellow walls running around here in the top sweeper. Tell us a bit about the changes.
Yeah, mate, the Sydney Motorsport Park have done some great improvements here to bring the wall down a little bit closer to the edge, so we're not going to have people running up walls like we're used to seeing. But what that's done is it's quite square to where the track used to go and where our line used to go. So what we've had to do is try and bring the guys a bit closer to the middle of the track early on, and we've actually moved the clip point back further along the wall. So that will mean that they'll need to have time to get the car on an angle and then drift slowly out towards the wall, feed it into the zone and run the whole way through the zone. So I think it's going to show some really, really interesting battles. Definitely, the guys that get closest to the wall are definitely going to win.
I'm here with Rob Arbolino, the man leading the championship coming into round 4, mate. Last round, obviously had some dramas, power steering, lost the water pump before the battles. Continue on, got to the top step. How are you feeling tonight?
Yeah, well, like I said, I'd rather forget last round because that's not what we want to go by. But yeah, tonight feels good. We didn't get much testing time in the car and the track's changed up a bit. There's concrete walls thrown out there in the middle everywhere. So I guess we'll just see how it goes and yeah, hopefully keep the top step by the end of the night.
I'm here with Brad Toohey, second in the championship, mate, coming to round 4. Last round, not one you really want to remember. Didn't really get up there, but you're back here now. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Obviously, yeah, you're right. Winton didn't go to plan. Like going out in the top 16 isn't great for the championship. Not to sort of want to profit from other people's misfortune, but Bo obviously had a bad round as well, and Abs had a bad round as well. So it still kept the points nice and tight.
You just went out for your first practice session. How do you find the walls?
Yeah, the walls are definitely there, but I reckon walls separate the men from the boys. So I'm happy to wad it up if it means a win. So I'll hit the wall.
Here with Bo, the show Yates, mate, last round. Just after qualifying, obviously that diff, you didn't get to compete, not the way you wanted to happen. Back again now, how's the car?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a shocker of a year. I think last time we were here, I had a problem with the gearbox, and then I went all the way down to Winton, Victoria, and broke the diff. And then I've come here tonight and actually ran up the back of James Abbott in practice. So the car's got some the wheels that I actually put it on the trailer with, but listen, there's a few changes to the track tonight, and they put the walls right on the edge of the track, so it's definitely different, but it adds another element, and I'm just really looking forward to getting out there and having some battles.
There's a bunch of excitement in qualifying, but poor Millie here having a big understeer into those new barriers at Sydney Motorsport Park, and that ramp at the bottom of them just makes it so savage, lifting all 4 wheels of her 180SX off the ground, and he'd absolutely gutted with that. I mean, you can see how bent the front of the car is, but at the complete other end of the scale, we got your boy Rob Arbolino up on top of the points.
Yeah, killer run here by my man Rob, absolutely nailing those 2 noodles around what the judges want you to see, destroying those tyres. The Achilles tyres are absolutely cooking with this 350Z. As you can see, just doing everything right. Judges want to see exactly that, coming into the last corner again, on the wall, heaps of limbs. Good way to finish off the number 1 lap, mate.
And he's an absolute savage. So not only series leader, but now on top of the qualifying as well with a score of 94. But Bo Yates just behind him with a slight separation there. Then Aaron Jouard, James Abbott and Brad Toohey rounding out your top 5 qualifiers. And so with qualifying decided, we now head into the top 16 with some of our top qualifiers getting bye runs through there, and now for the tight battles and into the podium. Sitting on board now with Glenn Ormerod in that little rotary K70 Corolla, rumbling away on the line up against the big dog Tim Schultz in that huge power RB25 S13. Both of these guys making names for themselves in Pro-Am, but tonight stepping it up to Pro.
Both the drivers looking good here. Let's see what they do coming down the bottom wall. Schultz with a little bit of a bubble. Oh, Glenn straightened. Oh, that doesn't look good for Glenn. Could be mechanical.
Seems to have lost drive to the rear wheels for some reason. They're floating through the bottom section of the course there, while Schultz taking on that bit of practice and really finding the limits of that wall in the rear end of his S13.
Yeah, Schultz was struggling with grip there a little bit earlier through the night. Hopefully he can get that car dialed and get more. As you can see, the boys coming around to the bottom corner. Glenn looking good, and then all of a sudden, boom, straighten up. Schultz finishes the lap, and that car looks good on camera.
Oh, it really does. Hey, I absolutely love that glitter brown colour, and it makes such a savage noise. Bo, the mentor of Glenn Ormerod down there, just having a look around the car, pushing it back to pits, and hopefully getting it fixed again to go back out and battle. Moving on to the next of the battles is Anthony Billick on board there in what is a nicely tidied up interior and exterior of this car, chasing James Abbott, who had a real heavy crash in qualifying, but managed to get the whole left-hand side suspension of that car switched out, I believe, out of your garage, Shen.
Yeah, that's it. We sent a couple of boys there after Jabs had his hit to get on wire stuff and threw it in Jabber's car. Just got in for qualifying, and good to see him back out there. On board again with Billick again as they come around the last corner. Both boys look good. We'll have a look at the replay and see what we can see.
Tight battle for the judges there, but Billick, you can see just
Straight.
a little bit, unsure on the steering there and cutting that inside line that caused him to straighten up. And again here trying to dive just that little bit hard on Jabs and ending up in kind of a straight speed stall, no man's land.
Yeah, Anthony just trying to get up on Jabber's door, but unfortunately causing him to have a few mistakes in that chase. Let's see what he can do in his lead. Anthony Billick to lead, James Abbott to chase.
It's a real difficult one there because it seemed that Billick's car just had that extra amount of speed and was really gapping in on Jabs there in the chase. But then when the positions are switched, that road speed's not there. Jabs seems easily able to stick to the back of Billick.
Looking good here as they come down to the bottom wall. Oh, a little tap there from Billick.
Light enough not to adjust his line though, and that's a good sign for the judges there.
Want to see Jabs up high on his door as they come around the last corner. Good work from both the lads there. Nice clean runs. It might come down to those few little mistakes in Anthony Billick's lead run there.
Mate, can we just take time to appreciate Jabs' ECU mount? I hope we go back on board there because there's a nice cable-tied Haltech up on the dash there. Good job. Oh, that was so tight on the wall there, but unfortunately the chase mistakes for Anthony Billick gave that win to James Abbott, but very tight battle and some nice wall runs there. Good job, Billy.
Yeah, very tight battle there. James Abbott goes through. Warwick Hill in the lead here, followed by Matt Walters in the chase.
That R33's just gotten that fresh green respray here, and I tell you what, Matt Walters, event after event, just steps up the speed, steps up the commitment, and is really doing a good job driving here. But a couple of straighten ups there in the chase behind Warwick, trying not to get too close there, and as a result, stopping his drift.
Yeah, this is Matt Walters' first season ever competing in any drift competition, and he's taken it all in and progressing every single round. Warwick Hill there in the lead. Killer as always, nice and consistent. All that driving he's been doing all season is really paying off. A little bit off the wall there, not what the judges want to see, but that shouldn't really hurt him too much in his scoring.
I'll tell you what though, Matt Walters, especially on the entry into the sweeper, is looking really settled in that R33, getting it out there onto lock stops and doing those big entries, but then it's just in the chase positions and on the transitions that he seems to get a little bit offset by the lead car. So that's why Warwick Hill's getting the advantage there. Very clean lead run, and as the positions switch, I think that extra experience is going to help him out in the chase.
Big hog machine to lead with Warwick Hill in the chase as they come around the first corner.
That's a nice line there from Matt Walters in the lead, but gee, Warwick Hill's little BMW has got some road speed on it.
As they come down the bottom corner towards the wall, Warwick looking good in the chase. Take nothing away from Matty, but he's doing everything the judges want to see in that lead run as they come to the top wall. Looking good.
That individual throttle-bodied LS is absolutely singing through that sweeper, and what a smokescreen it put out. Look, cooking.
Yeah, you definitely stepped it up in this lead run. Coming to the S's. Absolutely destroying those tyres. Big lock there, holds it on.
Aggro on the wall.
Oh, he does have drift anger on his door, mate.
Love it. A win there for Warwick Hill, but I think really, if Matt Walters had the first chase, or the first lead rather, and got himself comfortable, it may have been a little bit different. Now on to the next battle, Mitch Jeffrey up against Scott Chambers, a new name in the series with a supercharged 1UZ little Corolla. Seemed to get jumped a little bit off the line, but he's eagerly trying to catch up.
Yeah, Scotty Chambers looked like he might have stalled it there on the line, which is not helping him out at all, trying to gather Jeffries back up in his chase. Oh, another mistake there from Chambers, not working well. While Jeffries in the lead, doing a nice clean run as he usually does.
Yeah, Mitch Jeffrey is just so calculated. You know, might not be one of the more aggressive drivers we've got in the series, but he'll go through and run that same line on the same circuit time after time after time. Gets himself comfortable, and he's an absolute animal in the chase. I'd say the advantage that Scotty Chambers has just given Mitch by letting him jump off that start line may be a little bit insurmountable, especially with the mistakes through this back section here.
Scotty Chambers is going to have to do something spectacular in his lead run to get all those points back he lost in his chase.
Ballsy to come up here to New South Wales after being so comfortable on the home circuits down in Tasmania. Cars lived at your house for a little bit, Shembry, so you know it'd be a daunting exercise getting out here on the figure eight for the first time as other drivers are just trying to get comfortable with the walls. He's trying to work out the layout, and man is he doing it on the foot brake there.
As they come through the S's, Chambers looking very good compared to his chase run. He's been having a few problems with that car all night where it's been shutting off on him, but it looks like it's working well for him here. Jump on board with Jeffries. Can he get on Chambers' door as they come around the last corner? Oh, straightened up by Chambers, causing Jeffries to spin. We'll have a look at the replay there, see what happened.
Unfortunately, I think that's going to be the last we hear of that supercharged 4-litre Toyota V8 in Scotty Chambers' little Corolla, because some mistakes in the chase followed by a straighten in the lead. It's pretty hard for the judges to overlook.
There, he's looking pretty good in this lap. Too much angle coming up that straight, but gathers it up. Oh, just throws it on. Couldn't keep it going. Jeffries did well to not run into the back of his quarter there. Well done, Jeffers.
Yeah, eyes on the ball for sure, and a very quick save, smashing the foot brake there and getting it into spin.
Aaron Dewar in the lead, Jeremy Koch in the chase. Stepping up from Pro-Am, Jeremy is tonight, and he's been killing it out there. Let's see what Aaron can do in the lead, but...
Hard one to battle if you're stepping up from Pro-Am. Aaron Dewar, a true veteran of the sport, also a race engine builder in his full-time position, and that is where one of many angry V8s have come from, including the one under the bonnet, and, well, partially under the bonnet. There's a big carby hanging out the top of the bonnet there of Aaron Dewar's super featherweight S14. Followed by Jeremy Koch in a R33 Skyline there, and you know, it definitely has some power as well, but to try and catch such a well set up car of Aaron Dewar, you've got an uphill battle anyway, and then throw the difference in driving experience there, and it's a pretty obvious advantage.
Aaron looking pretty comfortable in the lead. Still getting dialed in with those walls as he comes back up to the sweeper again for the second time around. Not right out where on the noodles where they want to see him, but nice clean run in the lead from Aaron.
Tell you what though, despite the gap that opened up, Jeremy did actually have a really clean run through there. You know, his transitions were smooth, he was driving pretty fast. There's just a big difference between these two cars. So let's see what happens as his positions switch up. Let Jeremy get comfortable and run the line he wants to run, and Aaron in the chase.
Jeremy doing killer out there in the lead against Dabs. Ooh. Nice on the wall. He doesn't have to get up on his door here.
And he knows it. Look how angry he is in the driver's seat.
Nice. Listen to that thing roar. Well done from both drivers. Nice clean runs from both of them there.
Really tight battling, especially towards the end of the sweeper there from Aaron Dewar. He knew he had the advantage early on, but you know, he's not one to step away from a fight. Whereas Jeremy, really getting comfortable in the seat of a drift car. He's only a newcomer to the sport, diving straight into competition, and look at that. He's really getting comfortable in that car and nailing the line across the wall there. Unfortunately, not quite enough to overcome Aaron Jouard, but I've got a feeling we're going to see Jeremy in some more battles as the season goes on. So after a couple of knockouts, the top 8 shapes up like this. Rob Arbolino going up against Tim Schultz. James Abbott and Brad Toohey both trying to jump up those championship ladder. Bo Yates against Warwick Hill, and Mitch Jeffrey will face off against Aaron Jouard. After the break, we dive into the top 8 of the Famous Insurance Pro-Am Series before the Drift All-Stars battle it out. Welcome back as we head into the top 8 of the Famous Insurance Pro-Am Series under lights at Sydney Motorsport Park's Figure 8 circuit. Out in front is the prodigy Glenn Ormerod with a pretty sweet points lead, but Warwick Hill has been driving so well so far in this series, so Tim Schultz behind him will be wanting to chase and get up there, with Matt Walters and Josh Shuttleworth rounding out our top 5.
The noodles, exactly what the judges want you to see. You hit those noodles, you are going to get maximum points.
It's a big long wall that these guys need to focus on getting the rear end of their car out there, filling up that outside zone for the judges, but hopefully not filling up their boot with barrier. Oh, Glenn Ormerod driving nicely on the wide line there, while Matt Walters hugs the inside there, allowing him to keep proximity, but also losing a couple of points with the judges because they do want to see that line of the lead car emulated by the chase car.
Mr. Consistent in the league, Glenn Ormerod. Such nice, clean and tidy runs on this youngster, Glenn.
He knows exactly where he's putting that car and just drives it so smoothly throughout. And the gap he managed to open up in front of Matt Walters really demonstrates that skill there. So good on you, Matt. Nice tight chase there, but as he came around to the straight, just left behind, and there's the advantage from the judges.
Yeah, a little bit of a wheel drop there from Matt. A bit too much angle there, which gives Glenn that little bit more wheel speed and gets him pull away.
Oh, I love the sound of that rotor, but there's also the rumble of an individual throttle-bodied V8 motor under the bonnet of Matt Walters. Bright green now, R33 Skyline.
Nice line there from Matt Walters, getting all the way out to the walls. They come through the S's, looking good in the lead. Glenn doing nothing wrong in this chase as they come down the bottom against the wall.
Here comes the dive through the bottom straight, though. Glenn managing to hold that same level of angle through the into the bottom there, where Matt Walters had a bit of a bobble.
Yeah, Matt Walters way offline there on the inside of the line, not where the judges want to see. He'll get judged down for that.
Riding on board with Glenn now, you can see he just constantly creeps in and just improves on that line of Matt Walters, and I'd say that's where the judges will be giving him the advantage. But not to take anything away from Matt Walters, he came really nice and close to those inside clipping points there, and it's just the bottom straight that upset his score.
Yeah, you have it. Glenn Ormerod goes through to the top 4.
Jeremy Koch up against Tim Schultz. Schultz in that black track performance. Huge power RB25 S13.
Oh no, Schultzy!
Bit too much power in that wise fab. Not enough to save him from a spin there.
Throws it away. Jeremy just having to finish the lap to get the advantage in his lead run.
Tell you what, power isn't everything, because that other RB25 under the bonnet of the R33 there seems to have no issues chalking those rears, with Jeremy looking focused behind the wheel.
Yeah, shame for Tim Schultz there. On board. Boom, Wise Fab couldn't save him there. Unfortunately, he spins around and Jeremy gets the advantage.
Seemed to just come on and start cooking that little bit there, but then as he's tried to bring it back, not as much grip. So possibly the switch from semis to street tyres between Pro and Pro-Am just catching him out with a little less grip.
Yeah, he's been having trouble chasing grip tonight. Might have to get him on a new tyre for the next round. Nice in his lead as they come around the top corner. Oh, straight up from Jeremy.
Schultz a little late on the transition there as well. Pretty messy from both drivers through here. Jeremy really needing to chase down that gap, and how good was the wall run there from Schultz. Would this be enough to overcome his spin? Pretty clean lead run there, although through this section here, that little switchback was just that little bit lazy and late from Schultz, so it's really a hard one for the judges to call.
Let's just listen to this Black Track RB25 singing on the limbs. And there you have it. Jeremy goes through. Schultz did not do enough to turn around that spin on his chase run.
This is exactly what the Pro-Am's about. We're going to see Jeremy Koch get a chance to battle it out later on. But first, Isaac Gett up against Brian Cruikshank in that mean JZ BMW.
Oh, nice clean line there from Isaac. This is Brian's first round of the Famous Insurance Pro-Am Series in an immaculate BMW.
Man, you think it looks good from the outside, you need to see under the bonnet of this thing. It is a gorgeous JZ swap. And the second E46 we've seen in the Pro-Am Series with a JZ under the bonnet. Of course, Warwick Hill successfully campaigning that motor, but Isaac Gett, how good has he been driving lately, Scott?
Mate, all that seat time he is doing is paying off. Every time Isaac gets behind that wheel, he progresses and progresses. The man they call the Froffuccino.
Oh, you can see the froth from here, mate. He is absolutely loving it. And out to that outside line there. Such a beautifully presented car. Not afraid to scrape it along that wall, but not touching it yet.
Let's flip him around. Brian in the lead. Isaac in the chase. Listen to the limbs from Brian's car. Isaac betters Brian's line.
Yeah, really giving those pool noodles a bit of a wave and getting up on that wall there where Brian was just that little bit shallow.
Nice.
But it didn't hurt any of Isaac's track position because he was able to dive on Brian there through the bottom.
Looking good from both the boys here as they come into the last corner. That screamer absolutely screaming from Brian's car.
Yeah, got a workout there. A bit of a smoke and flame show from under the car.
Look at that, Isaac touches both the noodles, betters Brian's line in the chase. Comes through the S's, both boys looking good here.
How's the dive here though? He's in.
Nice. Perfect line there from Brian. And there you have it, one more run could not split them. I think that's a good decision there by the judges. I can't wait to see these boys throw it down again.
And you know what, if Isaac didn't quite have as much roast through that bottom section there and had slingshotted out and followed Brian, I think it would have been a different result, but possibly just getting caught out by that dive a little bit earlier on. Let's see, with this one more run, it's all down to this.
Isaac on the wall again, time and time again, just doing exactly what the judges want to see. Comes through the S's, both boys looking good here. Let's see if Brian can get up on his door.
He's trying to chase, and the gap isn't opening as much, but I think Isaac's comfort with the outside walls and barriers of this circuit is going to be the difference here, hitting those noodles again.
Oh, well done from both the boys. Such a tight battle here. Take nothing away from both of them. Isaac on the noodles, Brian on the limbs, coming through the S's.
Tell you what, you drop either of these drivers into pro. We've already seen Isaac up there, but I think Brian Cruikshank, mate, you've definitely got an earned position in the Pro Series as well as Pro-Am.
Yeah, hopefully we see him back next round. Isaac goes through. Killer car, killer driver.
Another JZ BMW out in the lead now is Warwick Hill, chased by Bo Ibanez, another newcomer.
Yeah, this is Bo's first round. Big U on the figure eight, not easy, but he's been doing it well in practice. Unfortunately, George Warwick Hill, who has been on song all night as usual.
Both the Hill brothers have been getting so much seat time lately, but Warwick has been an absolute gun in this series, and it makes me ask, where's Matty?
Where is Matty? We need Matty back here because old mate Wazza is showing you up, son.
Oh, he'll gore you, mate, and that shows his talent. Just putting a huge gap over Bo Ibanez, getting out there in the lead. But then again, Bo, for his first competition and his first drive in the Famous Insurance Pro-Am Series, he's done quite well, linking the circuit nicely, using lots of lock and, getting through there and really showing off the line that he's able to achieve. So in the lead now, Warwick's going to have to absolutely stick it to him.
I was actually just speaking to Matty before in the pits, and he says he'll be there around 5 of the final round.
Ooh, keen.
So we'll see if that comes true. Bo in the lead, Warwick in the chase, looking good. Oh no, Bo's front. You see that? I have to check on the replay. Bo's front driver's side wheel was vibrating out of control.
Tell you what though, he pulled off a Summernats for the crowd, and I'm all about that.
Yeah, obviously something going wrong with Bo's car there. Not what we want to see in his first round of the famous Insurance Pro-Am Series. Warwick finishes off his lap. Let's take a look at this replay. Good entry from Bo. Heaps of lock. Warwick doing well to chase him. As you can see here, boom. Front driver side wheel, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, not good. Something's gone wrong there. Unfortunately, Bo's going to be on the trailer tonight. Hopefully we see him back at round 5.
Could have been a steering component just losing control of that front knuckle a little bit, or maybe that's a sign of bind from outside the car and on the switchback that's caught Bo out for not being familiar with the car. Either way, that's our top 8 heating up, and a big crowd showing out in the cold Sydney Motorsport Park weather under lights, and this is what they're here to see. We got Rob Arbolino out there up against Tim Schultz, and man, is this going to be a battle.
That? Schultz's car blowing a lot of smoke coming out for the warm-up burnout, pulls off the track. That is not looking good.
Oh, you are kidding. This was a battle I was keen to see. That exhaust pipe
thumbs
smoking
down.
away.
Thumbs down from Schultz.
Rob Arbolino, on the other hand, sitting on the line, foaming, ready to go.
Not looking good at all. Car still looks good on camera, but...
Oh, yeah, it does. Even if it can't move under its own power, it moves my heart. Great looking car. So Rob's circulating back around, knowing that he has a guaranteed position in the top 4, while Schultz, as much as that big power RB25 was sounding smooth out there before, it's getting towed off now.
As you can see, he comes out for the burnout, just blows smoke out the exhaust everywhere, and that is not good from your mate Schultz. Oof. Oh, well, the boys at Black Truck will get that pulled out and get a rebuild for the last round. Oh, let's go. James Abbott to lead and Brad Toohey. This is a championship battle.
Yeah, serious one here with James Abbott currently in 3rd position on the points, while Brad Toohey is down at 5th after a series win last year. And there's a mistake from Brad Toohey that I'm sure he is already kicking himself about in the first battle. Really tight line there through the wall from James Abbott, and he's looking to pull as much distance as he can on Toohey, but Toohey had incredible speed up that straight there and was able to come back and catch Abbott pretty quickly.
Interesting, as we come around the corner, Jab throws on big lock. Toohey tries to jump on his door and boom, straighten up there. Interesting how the judges call that one. They come through the S's. Toohey is absolutely destroying those tyres behind Jabbett. Has a small gap and then starts to gather it back up. As you can see, advantage to James Abbott there coming in to Brad Toohey's lead run.
It's amazing the speed difference, because it looked like Toohey was almost hard on the brakes in a straight line there to avoid hitting Jabbett.
Listen to that. Twin supercharged LS Raw. Looking good from both of the boys here as they come around the first corner into the S's.
Toohey carries some angle through that section there, pumping out smoke, but James Abbott is not deterred, going in through that smoke screen and keen to chase Brad Toohey.
Oh, Toohey starts to pull a little bit of a gap on Jabbett. Can he dive in here and gather it back up? Toohey absolutely cooking those Achilles tyres off the rims.
So the question's going to be for the judges now whether the straighten early on in the first run from Brad Toohey is enough to penalise him for what was a dominant lead run where he pulled away from James Abbott in the second part. Although Jabs, he was up there, he was getting in, he was going for door. It was an actual really nice chase run, but that's the judges' call. Brad Toohey going to be battling out for the top step.
Interesting call, that one from the judges.
Here's a JZ battle now. We got Warwick Hill up against Bo Yates.
Bo Yates thrown it in hard on the wall. His trailer wheels on the front after having that little hit with Jabbett in practice this morning. Bo is just looking composed. Warwick, unfortunately, is getting lost in the smoke and left behind.
Roasting out on that bottom wall there, and then again on the top wall as well. You can see why Bo is just such a calculated driver, knows exactly where he needs to put that car.
You can see on the replay, Bo coming in nice and hot through the S's, doing everything the judges want to see. And this is where Warwick starts to get lost in the smoke a little bit, and Bo starts to pull that gap away. On the wall, on the cook, and Bo Yates gets the advantage.
And an obvious decision at that. Definitely agreeing with the judges there. No one rides these walls as hard as Bo Yates, and he's only seen them tonight. Man, I love the sound of this thing.
Yeah, just listen to that 2J roar. Bo on Warwick's door, coming through the S's, looking good. This is where the gap started to come from Bo and Wazza. Can Warwick pull a gap on Bo? But no, Bo is there.
Lots of pedaling from Bo there, trying to just keep the much faster 8-6 back off Warwick Hill there.
Well done.
So he can come in and battle tightly through the top sweeper, and very nice drive. Although Warwick really making no huge mistakes out in the lead.
But when you got Bo Yates on your door making no mistakes at all, you have to be perfect. Listen to those 2J's roar. Coming back under the top corner. Bo nice and composed. Warwick on the wall, but Bo is there, and Bo Yates takes the win and heads into the top 4. Aaron Dewar in the lead, Mitchell Jeffries in the chase. V8 versus 2J.
Now this is going to be a battle. Both of these cars really fast from a road speed perspective, and Aaron Dewar just with that crisp carby V8 with a lightweight chassis up against Mitch Jeffrey, who does have to battle that turbo lag, but when it's on, gee is it on.
Oh, listen to that LS screen. Both boys looking good here.
Big subframe smash through the dip, and Dewar is away, but Mitch Jeffrey right there with him.
Dewar nice on that wall. Would have been good if he could ride it a little bit longer, but we'll jump on board with Jeffries in the chase. The Outtek lights flashing in his face. Clean through the S's here. A little bit of a bubble there, which lets Dewar have to pull a small bit of a gap on him, and Jeffries gathers that back up as they come into the bottom S's. Sparks for days.
Advantage from the judges to Aaron Dewar, but only ever so slight. So we'll see these positions switch, and now Mitch Jeffrey will lead Aaron Dewar. What an office to work in, hey? He really made that his own. The big spanner hydraulic handbrake. He's got the sequential box in there. I mean, this thing is an animal of a race car.
Mate, the thing weighs like 1,000 kilos. That V8 in it, mental. Boys looking good here, coming down the bottom wall. Jeffrey's nice on that wall. Oh no, Dewar throws a bit too much angle coming out of there. Could be the difference.
Out on the wall perfectly though. Let's see, he reels Mitch Jeffrey in just a little bit and really crossing the line. I'd say the distance was equal in both battles, but the fact that Jeffrey opened up a gap at the midpoint of the run may hurt Aaron Dewar.
Coming through the S's just here. Looking good. Nice and composed, but as he comes over the little hump, car throws on big lock. Jeffrey starts to pull away. And there you have it. One more run. These boys are going to throw it down again.
Going to be an interesting battle to see because both drivers seem to be very closely separated, both in the lead and the chase, with only a single mistake from Aaron Dewar really what forced this into that one more run. Because otherwise, Dewar seemed to be the much more aggressive driver, getting out to the walls there, really cooking away those rear tyres and just generally looking angry and like he wants it. I don't know though, will that emotion and anger go to hurt him as we go into the one more run?
Coming up to the last corner. Looking, oh no! Aaron Dewar!
Again, like I was saying, trying to show that aggression in the chase position, but as a result, tipping in a little bit too much angle, looking to ride the wall, but having to use that rear grip to push him off the wall, and as a result, off the judge line.
Look at that dive there from Dewar, like you said, heaps of aggression. Unfortunately, was his undoing tonight. Jeffries nice and tight on that wall. There you go, Mitchell Jeffries wins as they come back up to the last corner. This is where it all goes wrong for Aaron. Boom, big lock. Couldn't hold around that wall. Give Jeffries the advantage. He goes through to the top 4.
What a way for the top 4 to shape up. On one side of the tree, we have Rob Arbolino and Brad Toohey in the battle of the boosted V8s. On the other side, Bo Yates up against Mitch Jeffrey. JZs go head to head. Coming up, both the Pro and Pro-Am podiums will be decided. Don't go anywhere.
Let it go. Let it go.
Straight back into the action of the Hi-Tech Drift All-Stars Round 4. We're shaping up for our top 4 battles now. James Abbott and Anthony Billick on the sidelines as we head into battles between Rob Arbolino and Brad Toohey.
Here we go. This is going to be good. Twin superchargers, twin turbs. Oh, a bit of a straight there from Rob.
Both very messy on the entry there. Brad making the mistake first, but then Rob in the lead, just straightening up and losing his drift altogether and causing Brad Toohey to then have a bit of a bobble as well. Very messy.
Rob composed himself and absolutely destroys the second half of the racetrack. On the wall, on the limbs.
There should almost be a rule against these two cars battling each other because they just smoke that track out in half a lap and it gets crazy out there. But that's what we want to see, right?
Yeah, unfortunately on that entry, both the boys with a big bobble. Rob gathers it up, Toohey starts to get lost in the smoke, tags that wall. Advantage Brad Toohey.
I think realistically, Toohey did make the first mistake there, but then Arbolino on that lead straightened up and completely lost his drift there and then threw Toohey off again. So I can see where the judges are coming for with that advantage, but at the same time, it's only slight.
Throw it around and Rob is on Toohey's doors. They come around the first corner, gives him a little bit of a love tap.
How is the wing scrape on the wall though from Brad Toohey? A really nice line set down for Rob to follow.
Looking good from the boys here. Plenty of cook on the track, coming the last corner. Oh no, Toohey! Up the, and they come together.
That was practically a stop from Brad Toohey there, and he seems to be slowing down at the end of that straight for most of the night. We'll see it as the replay rolls back through here that as Toohey came up the straight with a lot of speed, he opened a gap on Rob Arbolino, which Rob was obviously eager to chase down considering it's a top 4 battle. But then as he comes rocketing in behind Brad Toohey, he just doesn't quite get back on the power as quickly as he was expecting, and bang, there it is. Pretty hard to avoid there when you're coming in hot and trying to battle.
Yeah, Toohey runs a little bit wide, hits that ripple, pulls him straight. Rob's got nowhere to go. Let's switch it around. Rob to lead, Brad to chase. This is the one more run.
The judges couldn't split it and neither could we, so we'll see these guys run again and both hungry for that podium. Just reminding you that Rob Arbolino is currently our points leader, whereas Brad Toohey, last year's champion, sitting in 5th, so eager to get some points on, and he knows that knocking Rob Arbolino out will go a long way to help his championship standings. Oh, that was so savage and aggressive from Rob Arbolino, out on the limbs and out on the wall. Really nice line.
Those rev limiter lights just flashing in there in the 350Z. Coming through the S's, both the boys looking good. Going to be hard for the judges to split them. They come down to the last corner, small straight there from Rob. Toohey on the wall. There you go, that Brad Toohey gets it. Would have been close, nail biter there.
Hard one because everywhere else on the track, Rob Arbolino absolutely slayed it, but it's just in the bottom section here where we now see Bo Yates and Mitch Jeffrey taking off that Rob, you can see, needed to go that little bit wider and out to the wall there and just had a bobble as a result. Really tough call there, but that's drifting.
Yeah, need that one more run and another run. Rob to get up there.
And again and again and again. We would if we could, but it makes it stretch out too far. So I agree with the one more run format. It's all down to the wire. And that's what we're seeing right here with Bo Yates dominating and leading out against Mitch Jeffrey with commanding speed.
Just leaving Jeffries behind there, unfortunately, in the top 4 battle. Let's take a look at this replay. Bo, nice. A little bit off the wall. He's been on it all night. All good. Come through the S's. Both drivers looking good, and this is where Bo is just starting to get killer fast. Starts to pull on Jeffries, and Jeffries just has no speed to get back up on Bo's door. Advantage goes to Bo Yates. Look at this. Nice.
He's a savage. And we see another pretty much family affair here. Both these cars packing Toyota 2JZs under the bonnet, both with mountainous power, but it just seems that those couple of extra tricky bits on Bo Yates' car, of course with Bo at the wheel, make it an absolute rocket ship out there, while Mitch Jeffrey is just down that little bit on speed and trying his best to open up a gap on Bo now in the lead.
Looking good for the boys. They can't to the last corner. Bo Yates has to stay on Jeffrey's door, and we may see him in the final against Brad Toohey.
Jeffrey going nice and deep there, tagging that
hands
wall.
out the window.
But man, Yates, that chase technique is very hard to fault. How's the pedal work from both of them as well? You just hear those revs perfectly controlled.
Perfect coming through the S's here. This is where Bo pounces on Jeffries. Remembering that Bo put a pretty big gap on Jeffries there in when the runs were switched. Bo doesn't let that happen to him. Gets on Jeffries' door as they come in the last corner and seals his spot in the final against Brad Toohey.
An interesting turn of events as our points leader and top qualifier Rob Arbolino gets relegated to the third place battle, where it'll be essential that he makes his way onto the podium, while Bo Yates, our second points leader, and Brad Toohey will be fighting it out for the top step. Heading into our third place battle now of the Hi-Tech Drift All-Stars Pro Series. Rob Arbolino leading Mitch Jeffrey and hungry to get onto the bottom step of that podium and protect his points lead in the championship.
Yeah, Robbie's hungry for that championship and hungry for that third spot tonight. But he's got to get through Mitchell Jeffries first. Jump on board with Jeffries trying to chase down Rob, but Rob starts to pull away. Coming up to that last corner, can Jeffries get him?
The torque of that twin-turbo LS is just such an animal. And then you combine that with Rob, who'd be happy to put that car on the trailer bent in half, and you've got a recipe for disaster. He is a gun and does not care about scraping that wall, and that is really the hunger that we need to see from someone who is our points leader and has his eyes on the championship.
I don't know if he'd be too happy with putting on bent in half, Dave, but he definitely put it on the line, mate.
Nah, I know what he's talking about, though. He does not care. All he cares about is the result. Obviously, he won't intentionally drive it into a wall, but he will put it on the line.
And there you go. He has the advantage. Jeffries has to do something special in his lead. On Rob, on Jeffries' door.
Beautifully emulated switchback there, change direction, same time as Jeffrey, and again here. That's exactly a point that the judges are looking for. Both cars need to change direction at the same time and follow the same line. Jeffrey having a little bit of a wall scrape down the bottom here, but Rob is all over him.
Yeah, good driving from both the boys there. That's what we expect to see up here in this third place battle. Rob on his door around that top corner, through the S's, doesn't let it get him away from down the bottom. Listen to that pedal work from Rob.
You know what, Jeffrey obviously not afraid to put his car on the line either, having a sizable tap on the bottom wall there and roasting his way up onto the front straight. Very quick run. And there's the confirmation from the judges. Rob Arbolino stepping onto the third step of our podium and hopefully crossing his fingers that Brad Toohey overtakes Bo Yates to secure himself that points lead in the championship. Team Warwick Hill down in the pits, and the pit vibe in general is absolutely hype. People here to see some battles. And before we do see the final of the Pro Series, we're going to dive back into the Famous Insurance Pro-Am and watch Warwick Hill lead Jeremy Coates.
Yeah, this is your final of the Famous Insurance Pro-Am Series. Oh no, Jeremy, so consistent all night. When it comes down to it, has a big straight in. And that's it. Warwick Hill pulls away a gap. It's going to have a big advantage coming into his chase run. Remember, Jeremy, this is only his first season in competitive drifting, while Warwick Hill has been absolutely dominating this Pro-Am series and even in the pros.
Yeah, manages to step between both those series, and you know that is a good thing for Pro-Am because it means someone like Jeremy can follow a relatively more experienced driver like Warwick Hill, take pointers and then stick it on his door in the next round. So well done getting through to the final, Jeremy Koch. But I think that mistake will see it handed to Warwick Hill.
Fat Lady hasn't sung yet. Jeremy might pull off something amazing and even cause Warwick to do a mistake, and you never say these boys might be going for one more run.
Yeah, that's it. Drifting is never over, and you're right. I may have called it early because Jeremy Koch now getting his opportunity to lead.
Coming into the first corner.
Nice and wall riding there. Jeremy, good lead run.
Coming off a little bit early, but nice and clean coming through the S's. This is where he made a mistake last run. Doesn't do the same thing again. On the wall, Jeremy.
And he's gapping Warwick. Look at that speed.
Warwick could be trying to be a little bit conservative here, knowing he has a big advantage from that first run. Finishes the run, and I think we'll see Warwick take the win here. Let's have a look at the replay.
Yeah, it's a hard advantage to overcome, but you know, all credit to Jeremy Koch driving so well out in the front. And whether Warwick was being conservative or not, towards the end of the run, Jeremy definitely opened up a gap on the chase driver, and that's a commendable effort regardless of where he finishes.
Nice and tidy. Doesn't make the same mistake twice. And there you have it. Warwick Hill, the winner tonight, the famous Insurance Pro-Am Series.
There you have it, Warwick Hill scooping some valuable points, but trailing Glenn Ormerod by just a single point. This would be sure to be an epic first and second battle heading into the final round of round 5. And Tim Schultz down there, not quite in striking distance, but he may get himself a trophy yet. While the famous Insurance Pro-Am points ladder is decided, there's still a critical battle to go down in the high-tech Drift All-Stars. Bo Yates up against Brad Toohey, and the decision of this battle will see whether or not Rob Arbolino holds on to his points lead. Let's go.
Bo Yates to lead, Brad Toohey to chase. 2J versus Twin Supercharged VA86s on the track, absolutely destroying those Achilles tyres. They come through the S's.
Both the drivers switching back so aggressively and quickly, and then Brad Toohey diving in nicely into the driver's door of Bo Yates, who's hugging that outside line there, and gee, he's one of the fastest guys in the competition up this straight here, but Brad catching up nicely through the last sweeper there. I mean, you can see why these guys have found themselves in the final, Shembri.
Wow, those 86s just destroying this figure 8. As we can see here, Bo exactly where the judge want to see him, but Brad is not letting him get away from him. Nice and clean coming through the S's. Plenty of cookout on track. Brad goes for a nice dive there, not letting Bo get away from him, but Bo the rocket ship, as he does here to everyone tonight, pulls a tiny gap. Toohey dives, starts to reel him in as they come over the bottom of the track. It's going to be a good final battle, Dave.
I tell you what though, as much as Bo's car seems to have the additional speed up the front straight, Toohey on the switchbacks and in the battles here, that car just dives so aggressively mid-corner. He's really nailed the rear end setup of that 8.6 and drives it incredibly well. So I'd say possibly a slight advantage there to Toohey in the chase position. And now it's going to be all down to this bottom section of the track here. Bo dropping a wheel on the inside, an uncharacteristic mistake from Bo, potentially because he was lost in the smoke back there.
Yeah, visibility out there would be zero, especially behind Brad Toohey, those Achilles tyres. The crowd seems to love it. Let's take a look at this replay. Looking good from both the drivers here. Bo right on Toohey's door. Coming through the S's here is where it all changes, but Toohey unleashes that Achilles smoke. Bo gets lost a little bit, drops the wheel. Toohey starts to pull a gap, and that could be the deciding factor.
And there's the result. Brad Toohey is our winner of round 4 and jumps to the top step of the podium.
First and foremost, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Jez from DBS Tuning. Like, he's been on the phone to me all night. Not many tuners will do that. I've been fighting an issue with my car all night, and yeah, mad props to him, so thank you.
Ran into Jabs first thing tonight. Crashed into the wall a little bit earlier, so you know the Toyota genuine parts, you know the Hypertune Toyota 86. It's a good little car, and I'm just happy to be back up on the top step because I've had a shocker this year.
tell you what, I'm sure a lot of us out there would be eager to have a year that Bo Yates calls a shocker, coming in at third place in the championship standings on the other side of round 4, with Rob Arbolino just losing his points lead there, and Brad Toohey securing a 9-point lead. Following it down, James Abbott in 4th, and Mitch Jeffrey rounding out our top 5. We're going to see some tight battles and some championships decided in the final round of round 5 of the Hi-Tech Oils Drift All-Stars. We'll see you next time.